Clear thinking is a skill you can train, and Richard Feynman built his work on this idea. Your mind moves fast. It often decides before you even notice. A conclusion appears and feels complete, so you accept it and move on. Feynman warned that the easiest person to fool is yourself. He meant that your mind can hand you a clean answer without enough facts behind it, that you begin to see how often this happens. You hear one detail and form a full view. You see one sign and assume the cause. You feel quick certainty and treat it like proof. But speed is not the same as truth. Feynman believed clear thinking starts by slowing down and checking your first conclusion. Quick conclusions must be examined before they are accepted. Your brain constantly looks for patterns. It uses past experience to predict what is happening now. This is useful because it helps you act without delay. But it can also create errors. The mind does not wait for complete information. It fills in gaps with guesses that feel reasonable. You notice that the mind prefers simple causes and clean stories. It likes one clear reason that makes sense right away. When you get a quick answer, you feel calm because the problem seems solved. That feeling becomes rewarding, so the mind repeats the habit. Psychology calls many of these shortcuts cognitive biases. The idea is straightforward. The mind follows common patterns of error. You may focus only on what supports your first view. You may ignore details that do not fit. You may assume the most common cause is always the true one. Feynman understood that intelligence does not remove this problem. A smart person can jump faster, not necessarily better. The mind's speed is helpful, but it is not always accurate. Certainty can arrive before evidence does. Feynman explained that people often trust the feeling of "I know." That feeling is strong and stable. It removes doubt. But it is not a test. It is only a feeling. You begin to see how certainty works. A fast conclusion feels clean, so you stop thinking. You stop checking other possibilities. You stop searching for missing facts. This is how early conclusions turn into fixed beliefs. Research on overconfidence shows that people often feel more sure than the facts justify. They can be wrong and still confident because the mind confuses clarity with correctness. A simple story can feel more true than a complex one, even when it is less accurate. Feynman valued doubt because it keeps the process open. Doubt allows continued testing and learning. It prevents you from closing the case too early. When you feel sudden certainty, treat it as a sign to slow down. Separate the feeling from the claim. Ask for evidence before trust. Certainty must rest on evidence, not emotion. Every conclusion rests on assumptions. Feynman explained that a conclusion is a chain of steps, many of which happen in the background. You may not see them, but they shape the result. You start to notice hidden assumptions. You assume one detail represents the whole case. You assume your memory is accurate. You assume someone's words match their intent. You assume a pattern means a cause. These assumptions often stay unspoken, which is why they escape testing. A simple method helps here. Take the conclusion and work backward. What facts support it? What beliefs connect those facts to the final claim? Which of those beliefs are guesses? When you lay out the steps, weak links become visible. Feynman broke problems into smaller parts for this reason. He wanted every step clear. If a step was unclear, it could not be trusted yet. This is not about doubting everything. It is about making hidden steps visible enough to examine. Slower thinking is a skill you can build. The first answer usually comes from the fast part of the mind. It reacts, guesses, and completes patterns. This is not always wrong, but it is risky when accuracy matters. You begin to see the difference. Fast thinking gives you a quick label. Slow thinking asks for detail. Fast thinking tries to finish the problem. Slow thinking tries to understand it. When something feels obvious, you pause. When a conclusion arrives quickly, you shift into a slower review. Feynman practiced this because many mistakes hide inside what seems obvious. A pause creates space for logic. It allows you to check your assumptions and review the facts you actually have. You can train this in simple ways. Take one breath before deciding. Restate the claim in plain words. List what you know and what you do not know. Then move forward carefully. Slower thinking leads to stronger judgment. A conclusion must face facts. In science, you do not trust a claim because it sounds right. You trust it when it matches observation, and you trust it more when it matches again and again. You can apply this to your own thinking. Ask what facts support your conclusion. Ask what facts would weaken it. Avoid treating opinions as evidence or repeated talk as proof. Start with a clear claim. Define what it predicts. Check those predictions against reality. If the results do not match, revise the claim. Protect the method, not the conclusion. This does not require a lab. It means looking for real checks. Look for data. Look for consistent results. Look for repeat patterns that go beyond one moment. Facts must confirm a conclusion before it is trusted. Clear reasoning requires clear steps. Many wrong conclusions survive because the path to them is hidden. A person can jump from a small fact to a big claim. The jump feels smooth, so it seems valid. But the missing steps may contain errors. Practice step-by-step thinking. Take the story you are telling yourself and divide it. What did you observe? What did you add in your mind? What does that lead to? What else could explain the same facts? When you break reasoning into smaller parts, each step becomes easier to check. If a step is wrong, you can see it. If it is unclear, you can fix it. Feynman used simple breakdowns to prevent vague thinking and false confidence. If the reasoning is solid, you can show it step by step. If you cannot show it, you may be relying on a leap instead of a link. Clear reasoning requires visible steps. Self-checking is at the heart of honest thinking. Your mind protects its beliefs without asking. It prefers conclusions that fit what it already thinks. You begin to notice that you look for support and explain away counter-evidence. You judge other views more strictly than your own. This is common, but it harms accuracy. A useful rule is to try to disprove your own idea. Look for cases where it fails. Look for facts that do not fit. If you find them, revise the idea. If you cannot find them after honest effort, you gain more trust in it. Feynman tested his own thoughts like any other claim. He treated his mind as a possible source of error. When you adopt this habit, your thinking becomes less biased and more stable. Strong thinking begins by challenging your own conclusion. Simple words make weak thinking harder to hide. Unclear. Language often covers unclear ideas. You can use complex terms and still avoid saying anything testable. The same can happen inside your own mind. Practice translating your conclusion into plain language. Remove extra words. Keep only what can be explained and checked. If you cannot state it simply, it may not be clear enough to trust. Explain it as if you are teaching a beginner. Use short sentences. Define terms. Avoid hiding confusion behind fancy phrases. Clear language forces clear structure, and clear structure allows testing. Simple language strengthens honest thinking. A conclusion must change when facts change. In science, even an elegant theory must match results. If it fails, you update it. You do not argue with reality. This applies to daily life as well. If a plan fails, adjust it. If a belief keeps leading to poor results, revise it. If new evidence appears, update your view. This is not weakness. It is accuracy. Compare ideas with real outcomes. Prefer results over attachment. Treat correction as part of learning. Feynman valued results more than pride. He treated beliefs as tools. If a tool did not work, he replaced it. When you accept correction, you stop defending weak conclusions and move closer to what is real. A strong mind changes when facts require it. Delayed judgment is a method you can practice. The first answer is often a draft. It may be useful, but it is not complete. Clear thinkers build in a review step before committing. When a conclusion appears, label it as early, pause, ask what evidence supports it, list the steps that led to it, check for hidden assumptions and missing facts. Watch your own thinking. Notice when you are rushing or filling gaps. Notice when you are treating comfort as proof. Feynman's approach was calm but strict. He did not rush to closure. He delayed judgment until the reasoning was clear and testable. You can build the same habit with practice. Clear thinkers wait until their reasoning is complete before they fully accept a conclusion.